Don't stop.
Our second to last match is coming up. We saw one win take out Drakkar 2-0, Virtus Pro take out Drakkar 2-0, and now we're going to see another Virtus Pro game. It's going to be up against Lotos. Just to make sure it's not spelled Lotus, but Lotos. So how do you think this one's going to go, ZP?
I would say about as the last one went, which is sheer domination coming out from Virtus Pro. Look, I'd be happy to be wrong, but this Loto squad is running with several of the players that were on the old Loto squad, and they won all of 3 maps in the last one-win Bombshell, and generally speaking, did not look good against the upper tiers. So this is, again, kind of a question of how much have you improved from Bombshell 5 to Bombshell 6? For VP, this is just a, hey, you want to be the top team in the EU again? You got to prove it by squashing anyone that is beneath you, and don't really expect VP to take their foot off the gas here. But, either way, it'll be interesting. We'll get more insight into where VP is at, and look, we will get to see legitimately, has Lotos improved or not?
I can give you some really cool information. Not about Deadlock, but about Lotos, which I was like, is this like another pronunciation of Lotus? Oh, it's actually its own flower. Egyptian water lily. How about that? I was about to be like, it's, if it's going to be a flower, why isn't it a lotus? But it's because it's not. So thank you for the education, Lotus. I now know. But yeah, going to be tough. The 3 top dogs we're looking at really like 1 win, Abrahams and Virtus Pro, and then Melee Crepes. I've done this so many times with practice, guys. Melee Creeps are also there, kind of like the NA. I actually look forward to casting them for their energy that we were talking about earlier, which I think also is going to be some of the rare instances, perhaps, of Deadlock. You tell me of actually the international competition, right? Like how many times do you really see EU versus NA in Deadlock so far?
I mean, the last time was you had the NA mixed team that went in Volume 5, where it was like mostly Hydronation Thanos. It was like Hydronation plus Hoot, effectively, where they're like, okay, Hoot, we're going to bring you on in. Of course, Hoot now enjoying his time over on, other EU teams. He's like, no, I'm going to be fighting for EU. And where it's at is like, why not? He's on the number 1 team in Abrahams for you. So, he's no longer helping NA against you, but either way, this is the only time we see it is in 1-win Bombshell. The only time we've seen international competition, and it's, the NA teams know they're playing at a disadvantage, but they still think they can make a good showing nonetheless. But we got the draft underway, and VP, again, prioritizing the Mirage, and now into the Warren, but they gave up the Calico.
They did, yes. Okay, so I got conditioned. Now I got to remember there's other things that can happen. Calico can get Lotus. I mean, do you have any thoughts about why Virtus Pro wouldn't really mind letting that through?
Honestly, the only thing I can think of here is that it is limit testing. Like, I do think it is a little bit of limit testing going on here, thinking, okay, how bad can it be? I don't know if they would give up the Calico currently against Abrahams. Probably not, given the fact that Hoot, like, the last time they went against Abrahams and Hoot was able to get Calico, it was a bloodbath. Like, I feel like they would never let Hoot get that hero again. But in this case, following up the Warden pick with the Sinclair pick makes all the sense in the world, just because you don't really want the Sinclair to copy on the Warden. So that end from the VP draft makes perfect sense to me.
And outside Lotus, Calico, Viscous, and some Holiday, a bit earlier than we've been seeing. What other heroes we're looking for Virtus Pro? Which really, I mean, if they are limit testing, then they can be feeling very comfortable in this match, and we might see more variation in who's on what, and even like what actually comes out. I don't think we're seeing anything super crazy like a Dynamo, which is just apparently never chosen.
Hey, if anyone would play, it'd be VP. I'm not gonna say the name, but there's a certain build where everyone goes like Listic. Do the thing, and I feel like they haven't played it long enough that's almost fallen off the public consciousness. But yes, VP, they could do it. Do I think we're gonna see it right now? Probably not. But hey, it would be entertaining nonetheless.
Yeah, just throwing out like a little more flexibility. But yeah, there are seemingly like 5 characters in Deadlock that we just don't really bother talking about. Felt like it was also going to be 6 because like Bebop had run out for a while. But as you keep pointing out,
Yeah.
the changes are just happening so rapidly that very few are just determined no goes. But yeah, I don't think they're going to be that crazy. Letting Calico through feels crazy, as you said. They wouldn't do it for Sabrahams, but Lotus, see what they can make happen. Let's hope that they have a very good Calico player, because you know that Calico can kind of do it all. One of the reasons she is banned. And I'm not going to say that you have one good Calico player you can win against Virtus Pro, but I feel like, you know, maybe the excitement gets on and the call that they're having right now, where they're like, oh my god, we got Calico, like we can do something with this. And Wraith
Yeah.
and Ivy coming out for them too.
Yeah, I mean, step one is going to be win lane is where they're at, and yeah, I mean, I'm curious what VP falls up here. I mean, generally speaking, you would expect them to come in with Infernus at this point and thinking about what Zergi's going to play. But also, I mean, they do have different looks, as we saw in the last game, where they said, okay, we're going to put Zergi on the Warden, and that's totally fine because they ended up going with the Lash. I mean, they could go with the Lash here again. They also well, the Vindicta's banned. Vindicta's not coming in here this time around.
No.
One thing that's fallen out of favor, though, in EU pretty much entirely, even though we saw it a handful of times in A, is GT. Great Talon is just kind of dead in Europe right
Yeah.
now. And, you know, now I've said that, it's like, no, he's alive. The old man's alive. But for now, he's been dead. Hydronation being like one of the only teams on the NA side that would run it. But okay, it's going to be Lash coming back in again, which probably to me, this is signaling it's going to be Zergi, Warden, and Shriek on Lash, just based on what we saw in the last game.
All right. What is the last pick for Lotus? Who, I wonder if so they're coming in as the underdogs. They should know that. Are they coming in with minds of trying to get the most comfortable picks, or are they coming in with the idea that they're going to try and stop Virtus Pro from doing that? I don't know what you would decide
I feel
as
like
far as
for
the underdog team.
generally speaking, if you're the underdog in your team that's like less seasoned, you usually have like less hero versatility. Therefore, you have like, you kind of want to just get your picks. Like, you're usually not the point of like, ooh, what can we do to sabotage VP, who's already like kind of difficult to ban out and draft anyways, right? So I think if anything, like, they're more at risk of getting banned out by VP, but VP prep wise is also probably just like, well, we don't need to do like specific bans here. We're going to play this more straight meta or anything else that we want to go with. But yeah, okay, so VP is going to go back to the Haze again, so they're kind of running a similar setup to what they did in the last game, where you know, it's likely going to be Oakim on the Haze and then Zergi on Borden, and that's where we go. Lotus going to finish out here with a Shiv, and I mean, you know, last pick Shiv at the very least, after you confirm there's no like pocket on the other team, there's no Infernus on the other team, it's not the worst in terms of farm here. I mean, look, they can funnel a lot of farm into Wraith and Shiv, and that like Calico get most of our farm from boxes. So like the actual composition for Lotus really isn't bad here.
Okay, cool. That's good news for them, who's going to need every advantage they can get up against Virtus Pro. And in Virtus Pro, the only note I have is just that they did, you know, ban Pocket, which is, you know, usually a pick for them. But it's not like the rest of them aren't capable of flexing, which has been proven time and time again. And it was proven even last game. Appreciate seeing the Haze again, just to talk about her a little bit more. But so you wouldn't say that there's like an extreme advantage in these drafts, which has kind of been some of the cases for some of the other matches we've cast today. There's chances on both sides.
Yeah, I think honestly, this is about as evenly balanced as it gets. I think both teams have threats in the early game as far as laning goes. They have threats in the mid to late game. You still have like continual threats to get pickoffs as Lodos. Same for VP, even though more of it's gonna have to like run through Obakim into the mid game. Yeah, I mean, this is. I kind of look at this, and this feels like one of the more even keel drafts. Even looking to the late game, you know, you got Yamato on one side, you got Shiv on the other, you know, Warden, the Calico. I mean, these are all things that relatively balance out. I mean, you can kind of make the argument that maybe the Wraith puts Lodos over the top, but the power curves for both teams are astonishingly similar. The only thing I can think of in terms of lanes is that there are a few nasty lanes that came out here in terms of, you know, if you do Mirage Sinclair or Mirage Yamato, maybe there's a world where it, you know, overpowers something early on, like maybe a slight edge to VP in the early lanes, but it's pretty well balanced between the two teams.
Okay, that's good to know. I wonder if there's going to be a situation where, you know, maybe the laning phase actually looks quite similar. You know, Virtus Pro did not dominate in their last match. So they were more so starting to get highlighted as the game went into more, it was like minute 9, 10 kind of thing. But if Lotus can do that, then I still feel like Virtus Pro would be coming out on top. So that's kind of the downside, I guess, of having a similar curve, as the power specs go for your teams, is that maybe if you had a completely different team composition for Lotus, you'd be like, well, maybe if we lose here, we can win there, or vice versa. But now it's like, well, we're just going to be matching them in the energy the entire time, but they are the better, more well-established team.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting how some of the things pan down here. I actually feel like the mid game is going to be kind of interesting because I think there's a world where Obakim ends up being on like kind of checking Calico duty. You think about like, both at times can fill similar roles where, I mean, obviously you have Calico that's devouring boxes all the way through, but the other thing that makes Calico really good is that you get intel from Calico on movements or anything else in the same way that Hayes does, but Hayes between the two is maybe more a little bit likely to jump the Calico and where we're at. But I mean, a lot of how that's going to pan out is like where their farm is at. If the Calico is significantly more farmed, does Hayes want to take solo fights like that? Not as much. If it's more evenly farmed, there's worlds where Hayes can take it. I mean, I feel like a lot of this is going to come down to individual play in lanes. And by that metric, if you go by overall experience and past performance, it ends up still being like a pretty large edge to VP. But it's hard to call it just from draft alone.
We're all secretly hoping that there'll be a little more of a context, just so that we have something new to talk about other than Virtus Pro. Virtus Pro wins, Virtus Pro wins, Virtus Pro wins. Which, it's only 2 series today, so it's not like that's dramatic. But yeah, they have just been dominating. Once they get a lead, they do not let it go. But you gotta talk about Calico for a second, because she just hasn't appeared as of today. She's always been banned out first. Virtus Pro didn't mind getting that over to Lotos. So we're not going to see a lot of differences coming down right now, of course. Very, very early
we got
on.
lane swap, I think.
We got a lane swap. Yep.
Yeah,
Lance. Go that far back to the teleporting. Legitimate question. I don't know if there's another reason to do that.
No, it's just fully for teleport.
Okay.
We come back in and where that is at. So, again, cool to see more lane swapping being more of a focus here. It's weird that advantage has been left on the table as long as it has in Deadlock. But taking a look at middle, Calico Holiday versus Lash Mirage.
Virtus Pro were hungry. They really wanted to go after that Shiv. And they do get him very, very low. So.
Yeah, I mean, Shiv ending up a little bit low. We'll get the full player names and who's on what here. I mean, I think we can probably safely assume that Zergy here on the board, and it's Pyro on the Shiv, and Pyro looking awfully low.
Yeah,
so the pressure on right-hand lane is actually, like, this could start snowballing out of control if they get a kill and then actually get early lane pressure onto it, but you take a look, and Viscous and Shiv both hanging on for dear life at the moment.
Yes, they are. If they can kind of resettle here, they can get healed back up without a dramatic loss of either Guardian health or just straight up souls. I think things could reset, but this is where VP, maybe in a more micro sense, will get ahead and not let it go. Poor Pyro finally taken out. The binding words of help there, and that Guardian is going to take a lot of damage. That Viscous is not much healthier. On the other side of things, Virtus Pro continuing to push. Mid lane's not going so badly by the looks of things. We have the Calico obviously going for the box hunting, and then actually Virtus Pro doing some of their own, so there's not as much of that dedicated pressure. But whenever you look at the lanes being pushed, it seems like Virtus Pro's got the edge.
Yeah, I think the danger for Lotus is that if they end up losing one of these side lanes early, and then ideally you'd want the Calico to be freed up to box roam and not be stuck in the middle, but there's a world where middle just starts getting slammed instead from pressure from the side lanes, because you take a look at what's happening here. I mean, both the left and the right have just been getting hit by VP, both nearly down to like just about 50%, and we're only 3 minutes into the game. The lane pressure from VP on the sides has been kind of unreal.
Yeah. Finally, a little pushback. I mean, Pyro dying at least got him to reset a little bit. They had to give us some Guardian health, yes, but maybe the reset can find some other alternative, right? But they're also down in souls because of that. So problematic, as you pointed out, kind of no matter where the lane goes down, there's always going to be problems then move over to the other lanes. And Virtus Pro are the ones who are predicting to win that out. I just say 2K is not terribly important, but can we get a surprising turnaround on the actual fights? Yes, okay, there you go. VP and Michaelis going down. Something happening in favor of of Lotos, but then a Force is also taken out in turn. It's a little 1-1 there.
Yeah, and I mean, middle, I mean, not too surprising. I mean, Holiday Calico is like one of the tougher lanes. So the question is, how much of a gap can they get in middle before one of these side lanes goes down? Because the left lane in particular is just absolutely getting mauled. At the way you just look at the mini map, you just see it's like Yamato halfway behind the Guardian. A little bit tough, and if the middle lane can at least keep neutral for a little bit longer, as you see, by the way, just a diving last stand in from Zergy. If you get the kill, great, but the Guardian's a real prize.
Yes, yes, it is, and that is guaranteed at that point. So, yeah, I thought maybe like the reheal, like they able to stand a little bit stronger for a little while longer. At the very least, it was not the case. Big fight happening on the left side as that Guardian is in the sights of Virtus Pro. Okay, I was just like, oh, yeah, sorry, Yamato, but the parry was excellent. Nicely done, able to stick around. Sticking around for a long time, too. Might want to back away at this point as Sai is responding on the Ivy, but the Guardian taken down. Nicely done. Nice execution.
Oh man, that was also arguably it's a good parry by the dynamics of Listic there, but also Force. Why are you throwing a punch there? You know the parry is going to be coming in. That's like a attempt from Shriek. Quite a the elevation in that one, but either way, VP now really starting to open up the map. 2 Guardians down, and you know, ZG, we kind of talked about this. Okay, this is how this may go down lane phase wise, and VP now starting to get significantly far ahead.
Yep, Olikim comes with a bullet dance to get that confirmed kill. What good news is there for Lotos? Not much, as the Viscous is also going to be going down. Yep. And the parry, and now Pyro's in a lot of trouble at Shiv. Gonna try its best to hold on. Nope, too many people. Too much from Virtus Pro as they take an 8k solely just about. Not all of the objectives have been put down as far as the Guardians go, but most of them have, and it just feels like this is going to be Virtus Pro in this tournament for a little while longer.
Yeah, I mean, I think as people looked at the trajectory of one-win Bombshell, I don't think there's a lot of people looking at this being like, I wonder if VP, are they going to be able to get out of group stages? And I mean, look, that would be one heck of a story if they just came in here and did not look good, but been quite the opposite here so far. And again, I think that's worth noting is that on the draft level, this was winnable by Lotos in the early game. It was just the execution was simply significantly better from the VP side.
Just you can't underestimate that confidence and that we would naturally have knowing that you're the favorite, but just being able to push in immediately can really offset even like a neutral lane, That's what happened on the right side. They were just like immediately getting Shiv low, making him make those tough decisions. Eventually goes down. Going down again, by the way. Little trade there. At least Obichem was also taken out. But yeah, and then you just kind of ride that wave as the game continues on. It's been a bit of a story for all of the lanes. Nice job there on the Holiday. Listic does go down, going very, very aggressive, but the Guardian also falls. So a little bit of pressure here from Lotos, getting something in return. Magician going for a little scouting run, looks like.
Of course, Sinclair just able to be real safe in these pokes here, but also did not like the approach of like potentially getting hit by the Walker Slam. It was like, nope, I'm just gonna pour it out. I actually would not like to be squashed here and in the moment.
There's nothing worse than feeling like a real baller when you're like really pressuring someone. Okay, I can even take him on the Walker. It's fine, man. And the Walker does its stun specifically, and you're like, never mind, cool, fine, whatever. Unfortunately, with the Spectral Assistant, you don't have to look embarrassed.
It's bad enough when AI is taking your jobs, but at that point, AI is also taking your lives. Like, you gotta watch out there. And Viscous is super low. Come on, right click, looking for it, and Viscous just might have squirted away there.
Yep, just barely. Force taking some of the hits instead, actually. Holiday hexed, bullet dance. Oh, that was no chance. And then the farm also can be taken. Thank you very much. As the pressure continues, we also have that right side. Oh, they're coming on the backside. Virtus Pro looking for the kills, dancing around the Walker, knowing they can take a lot of these battles, and they're going to find a 2-on-1 as well as Wraith and Calico a little caught up on the right side. So far, successful evasion on the side of Lotos to keep most of their men alive near the Walker. The Death Lamb's going to come down, and we have potential to take this team fight, and then a little more. Listic, however, was the first one to fall, and it is going to be Sherrick afterwards. So they were very, very aggressive. I think they were looking for a little more of a surround or like a jump opportunity, right, when they weren't expecting it. Didn't find it, and ultimately there's a lot of Lotus there with the Walker to support. But while I'm talking about that Walker, left lane Walker, that's taken down. So if it's not one thing, it's another, apparently. Virtus Pro's always got something.
Again, for VP, the main goal here is, it's solid investment strategy, right? It's like, how do you take your winnings from one fight, the winnings from the early game, and convert it to bigger advantages? And the reality is that they're willing to have some trades here and there in order to secure walkers as soon as possible. I mean, not only does it get them ahead souls-wise, but it gives them the opportunity to get more souls just by having more map control. And again, it wouldn't be an EU game without yet another pause.
I'm in on the meme. I'm all in. The stonks are rising.
First day of casting one with Bombshell, I was like, I get it. I understand.
Yes.
Like,
what am I going to learn today? My first foray in a professional deadlock commentary. I'm going to learn so many things. EP is going to teach me everything about Sinclair and items. And oh no, what I'm really taking from this is that there's always one pause for a EU match. That's the takeaway.
Yeah, I mean, just wait till you do your first NA broadcast, and it's like, wow, why aren't we going the game? And you look at production, and you see production losing their mind because another NA player has like entered the bathroom where EU is like trouble not pausing 80 times a game. NA has trouble just not repeatedly going to the bathroom in between games. Like I don't know why the regions are this way. It's kind of like, why are you so weird? Sort of.
Why can't you just be normal?
Yeah, exactly. That was.
Yeah, I'm ready for an NA match though. I feel a real camaraderie being an NA myself, and I feel like that type of chaos, downtime included, is that's where you can have some of the fun actually. Whereas Europe, yeah, there's that pause in the middle, but then we got to go back to VP's doing pretty well. VP, Virtus Pro, they're kind of winning. Although it looked troublesome right there for Listic, but he's going to get out of it.
Listic is going to try and bend away. I mean, still has pursuit. Listic's escape here, not guaranteed. You got Calico immediately right behind. Listic probably screams like, please, someone, anyone, get over here. And someone and anyone, so he's like, I respond to those names. I'm over it in here, and they're going to punish the Calico in turn.
And the Calico not getting a really hot start, by the way. They are one of the lowest soul earners on their team. Just struggling as the souls overall continue to get worse and worse for Lotus.
That is a fantastic point. No, it is actually a fantastic point here in soul allocation. Like, your Calico should not be this little farm. Like, your Calico should be able to generate more souls just by roaming around the map. I mean, generally what this is indicative of is that Calicos have been trying to fight a little bit too much, where it's like, yes, you still want to be active, but you also have to prioritize your soul farm here.
Yeah.
Okay, 100 HP. Listic, can you do the Great Escape once more? And look at the Crimson Slash into a little bit of HP drain, and nah, not this time.
A little too much pressure right there. Listic is taken down, but we got some very low team members on Lotus, so the follow-up. No one's going to get terribly aggressive for it. Okay, that happened very quickly.